All right, what's going on, everyone? Casey Adams here. Welcome back to the Rise of the Young podcast. Today we have Tyler Winklevoss on the show, the co-founder of Gemini. Thanks so much for coming on, Tyler.
Hey, thanks for having me, Casey.
When you say, Bitcoin is going to be worth $500,000, what do you think needs to happen to go from 20,000 to eventually getting to 500,000?
So I think it's just more time and education and more data points. But how I get to 500,000, it's very simple math. The market cap of gold is 9 trillion. So the entire supply of gold is priced at 9 trillion. If Bitcoin is gold 2.0 and it disrupts gold, then its market cap also has to be 9 trillion. But today, Bitcoin's market cap is 330 billion. So it's got to increase somewhere like 25 to 30x from here.
Yep.
So put on a 25 to 30x multiple on the price of a Bitcoin today, which is, let's say, 18,000, 20,000. That easily gets you to $500,000 a Bitcoin. So if we're right that Bitcoin is better than gold, and the way we get to that is we look at the characteristics of why people find gold valuable. It's scarce, it's portable, it's divisible. Bitcoin's better than scarce, it's fixed. You can send it like email. You can divide a Bitcoin into 100 million pieces. So across the board, all of the reasons why humanity has found gold valuable for the last multi-millennia, Bitcoin beats it. So it should be worth as much or more than gold. And for that to happen, a Bitcoin has to be worth $500,000 a Bitcoin.
I totally makes sense. When it does reach the point when it gets to $500,000 a coin, like what does it look like from the consumer behavior? Are people spending it? And how do you think it will be used when it gets to that point?
So that is a great question. A lot of people wonder, do you have to buy things, spend Bitcoin? Does it have to be used as a currency for it to get there? My answer is no. Nobody buys coffee or goes to McDonald's and buys a Big Mac with gold. Gold is seen,
Store of value.
Yeah, it's a store of value. You got it. But one day, a long time ago, before the invention of fiat currency, gold was brought to the market, and it was a commodity money, but we recognize it's a better store of value. So if Bitcoin just becomes a mature, better store of value, I think we see 500,000 a Bitcoin. If it's also used as a currency, there's efforts like the Lightning Network and other sidechain projects. If you can also use Bitcoin as a currency, the value actually goes up much higher. If it can be both a store of value and a way for a currency to work on the network. There are other instances too where Bitcoin itself, the network, could be like the substrate of other networks, and just the security of it, it would basically become like the digital global reserve currency of all crypto.
Yep.
Then it's even higher. So when I say $500,000 a Bitcoin, that's actually the conservative case. It could easily be a couple times more, or even order of magnitude more. And by the time it gets there, like you're never selling your Bitcoin. If you need to like use fiat, or, I sort of say cash is trash, you'll just be able to borrow. And today you can borrow off your Bitcoin, get the cash, spend it without selling the Bitcoin. So I was listening to this podcast and they were joking about like this Bitcoin meme of the Matrix, and like, when Bitcoin gets to like 1 million, like you won't have to sell it, kind of thing. Morpheus and Neo's like, what happens when it gets to 1 million? It's like, you won't have to sell it. So anyway, I think we've been hodlers, that's the term for holding, since 2012. And I was on CNBC Squawk yesterday morning, and the interviewer asked me, Seema Moody, she's like, what have you been doing to prepare, like now that Bitcoin's at 18,000? I was like, I've just been hodling. Like, it's just being patient. And I'm going to hodl all the way to 500,000. And I'm going to still hodl, because if I need US dollar shitcoin, I can always find another way to find it. But like Bitcoin it's like a multi-generational asset. You know, we are at the dawn of something as significant as the internet itself. The problem with the internet is that you couldn't buy a piece of it. You could buy like a domain name, you could sort of
Yeah.
squat, you could get like, I don't know, cool.com or podcast.com, even though podcasts weren't a thing back then. But if you knew that they were,
Funny you
you could
say that.
squat.
I was literally looking up podcast.com yesterday and it was going for like $1 million. So funny you bring that up.
Right. But that's like owning a piece of the internet, but it was kind
Yep.
of hard. You had to invest on the application layer, the companies on top of it.
Yep.
But wouldn't it have been nice to just buy a coin that represented the internet?
Totally.
Well, fast forward to 2010, the invention of Bitcoin, you can literally buy a coin, a Bitcoin or a fraction of one, that indexes or canvases the entire Bitcoin ecosystem without having to pick what company is going to work, whether
Yep.
it's going to be Gemini or Coinbase, or, you know, it's sort of like owning a piece of the racetrack without having to bet on which horse is going to win. As long as the races are running, um, you make some money. And
Yeah.
so Ether is the same thing for indexing a piece of the Ethereum network, which is a digital or decentralized global computer. A lot of people equate Ether to digital oil. So if you want to get into the crypto game, my suggestion is own some Bitcoin, digital gold, and own some Ether, digital oil. And with those, you have most of your bases covered.
Love that.